Well, Mehmet Akif Kirecci, Professor of International Relations at Ankara University of Social Sciences, joins me in the studio. Mehmet, great to see you. First of all, your reaction to the news that we now have a presidential runoff.
Well, I think it's going to be another 2 weeks of campaigning on both sides, Kılıçdaroğlu and Erdogan. Erdogan scored almost 2.5 million more votes than Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu. It seems that 7 vice presidents may not necessarily seem so plausible for the electorate of Kılıçdaroğlu. They have to appeal to their larger electorate. But Sinan Ogan also seems to be a very important player here. He's not a kingmaker, but some people like to call him. But obviously, issues that he raised earlier, like migration and putting a distance to the PKK offshoots in the parliament, that is what he meant with HDP, are 2 major principles of his approach to Turkish politics. Maybe there will be some realliances, regrouping of certain political spectrum. We'll see. It's a very vital democratic culture here. Turkish people like to vote. Turkish people like to enjoy their democratic rights. At least 4 years, once in 4 years or 5 years, they come out and they express their will. And I think it's going to be another festival of democracy, if I may say.
Just on that point, turnout of 89% across the whole of Turkey. So many countries could only dream of having that kind of democracy.
That's why I say Turkish people love democracy. In Ankara and in Istanbul, the participation rates are a little bit higher than 90%. I think that's huge. That's huge. So old people, ill people, some people came with ambulances, some people came with some, with help. It is really a festival of democracy. All scores of people, they like to come and express their political will.
So looking at the results, the challenger, Kılıçdaroğlu, is approximately 4.5 percentage points behind the president. Can he make that up in the next 2 weeks?
It seems it's going to be difficult, more difficult than Erdogan, pulling out another 0.5%. But I am sure that Kılıçdaroğlu is going to approach, at least try to approach to Sinan Ogan. But how they are going to reconcile their problem with the HDP, that is one of the major supporters of Kılıçdaroğlu's presidential bid, is remain to be seen.
Can I ask, just on the issue of where that 5.2% almost that was polled by Sinan Ogan, what will he ask for? Who will he endorse? What's your prediction?
Well, one question is if he chooses to endorse one candidate, whether his constituencies, his supporters are going to simply follow his lead. That's one question. Another one is that he made an expression about a concession. He said that he's going to seek for concessions. What did he mean by that? Some people interpret it as if he is going to be a kingmaker, but some other people also interpreted that statement as if he is running after certain offices. So some people criticize that approach. We have to wait and see. Maybe within a few days, it is going to be clearer for larger audience in Turkey. But I'm sure he is going to be waiting for invitations, if I may say.
Can I ask as well, the pollsters seem to have got it wrong by 5-6 percentage points. They were talking about the challenger almost on 50%, and that didn't happen.
Well, that's a big issue. Actually, those posters, when you distribute that through the social media, people sort of follow it through. They are convinced. What I call is intellectual conviction. Simply, it's also falsified conviction at some level, because some of them are sided with certain group or alliances. Some of them are funded by certain groups and or alliances. So when I'm trying to understand what really is going on in the internal dynamics of the society, you see that there's a level of trust in certain groups. if they are not funded by Group A, Group B, or whatever. So it was a margin. In some of the posters argued that either Erdogan is going to be able to win with a small margin, or there will be a runoff. So they were right.
And the two candidates now, will they take any respite today for even a couple of hours, or is it straight back onto the campaign trail?
Well, I think Erdogan already started his campaign last night during his balcony speech. Obviously, there are lots of things to do. If you are the president of the country, you have to simply run the country and then run the campaign. But Erdogan is very energetic during the night. I mean, during the day, he simply runs several campaigns in the same city. And then I hear that sometime more often, actually, his supporters, his people, his aides, they are simply tired of to simply keep up with his workload. And I think on the other side, the Nation Alliance, a lot of parties, a lot of leaders, 7 vice presidential candidates. I think they will run their own campaign separately. So that will be another sort of democratic show for 2 more weeks.
How do you think Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu is feeling today?
Well, I don't want to say not again, maybe. He must have felt that this time he is about to defeat Erdogan, but it didn't happen. So the information that some of the circles around Kılıçdaroğlu share with CHP constituents, the voters, I think there was a level of problematic approach to information sharing issues there, because at some level we have to trust to our electoral board's reports, because all the records are being certified by each party members. The electoral system in Turkey is very interesting and very traceable to the level that how many people voted in what ballots, not for which party or for which group they voted. Therefore, it is all certified, witnessed by each representative of parties, that they simply are represented in that specific ballot box. So I think that information is, after they certified the lists of people, how many people voted, they are signed up, the lists are signed up, and then they are shared all together. And that, only then the electoral board certifies and shares with all the rest of the parties, whether they are present there or not, and it automatically goes to the news outlets. So I think it's a very visible, very clean record there. So I think leaders and or supporters of certain parties should be a little bit more careful about the level of information they share with their voters.
Fascinating insight. Mehmet Akif Kirecci from Ankara University, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for inviting.